Well, good morning. I hope everyone's got a good start to the day. Today we're going to take a quick look at Proverbs chapter number 4, verses 20 through 23. Starting in verse 20, he says, "My child, pay attention to what I say. Listen carefully to my words. Don't lose sight of them. Let them penetrate deep into your heart, for they bring life to those who find them, and healing to the whole body. Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life." Just a few things I want to draw your attention to. One of the things I like to do when I read in Scripture throughout the Bible, but especially in the book of Proverbs, several years ago I heard a guy say, pay attention to the verbs, things that show action. So I always like to pay attention to the verbs. I like to underline those verbs in green. Green is like go, green action. So that's how you can think of it. Here's a couple things about the passage we just read here. We see that it tells us to have a strong attention to wisdom. Listen to a few things that they're saying here. Pay attention. Listen carefully. Don't lose sight of them. Let them penetrate deep. So this is giving us the idea over and over, just in a few short verses, we are to have a strong attention to wisdom. Second thing I see here is life-giving power. Life-giving power. We see that verse number 22 says, "For they bring life to those who find them, and healing to the whole body." This means the Bible isn't just a book. It brings holistic health to those who embrace it and follow it. And the last thing I see here is heart. It's mentioned 2 times just in these short verses. And a heart in the Old Testament time was considered the deepest seed or deepest part of the emotional person or the emotional being. Our heart is highlighted as the source of all actions and decisions, and we must make it a priority to protect it. So, the 2 questions I always like to ask myself, what does it say? Well, we just went through it. What does that mean? Here's 2 things that we can really put this into practice. First one, stay teachable. Stay teachable. And this has to be a deliberate action on a daily basis. We must allow our schedules, our minds, our ears, and our hearts open so that when we hear the word, we receive it and we take action on it. So stay teachable. Second one is guard influences. We just talked about the heart. The heart is very vulnerable. Be aware of the influences around you. And why? Because the last line of verse 23 says, "For it determines the course of your life." Be very aware of the influences you have around you. Make it a good day, y'all.